What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Crash Against the Spread, where we talk about sports from a betting perspective. We are continuing our series on how to bet with Sports Betting 201, how to bet baseball. Now, how do you bet baseball? Well, shit, I don't know. That's why I'm making this video to help both of us. So let's get into it. Now, we've all heard about the Dolphins' perfect season back in 72, 17-0, including winning the Super Bowl. But more recently, we might remember the Patriots' perfect regular season, but losing to the Giants in a big game. Same thing with the domination of the Bulls team that won 72 out of 82 games, plus the Warriors years later barely breaking that record by winning 73 games but going on to lose to LeBron in the playoffs. In basketball and football, team domination is obvious sometimes, but in baseball, the best teams every year lose about 60 games or so. There are very few 100-game winners from year to year, meaning the worst teams still cash their plus money bets a third of the time. So how will I know when to bet and how to bet those big odds? Now, that's the tough part. I do want to start by reminding you some of the differences in betting basketball and football as we start to figure out baseball, in case you didn't see my betting 101 video, starting with moneyline. Now, the moneyline betting is more common in baseball because the game scoring is generally lower and more unpredictable compared to basketball and football. Bettors simply wager on which team will win the game outright without a point spread. In basketball and football, moneyline bets are also available, but point spreads are more prominent due to the higher scoring nature of these sports. Moneyline bets in these sports are typically used for outright winner predictions without considering the margin of victory. Point spreads or run lines in baseball are usually set at a standard -1.5 for the favorite and a +1.5 for the underdog. This means that the favorite must win by at least 2 runs, while the underdog can lose by 1 run or win the game outright for the bet to pay out. In basketball and football, point spreads vary widely based on the matchup and expected margin of victory. A football game may have a spread of -3.5, while a basketball game might have a spread of -10.5, depending on the team's relative strengths. Totals in baseball are usually lower because games typically have fewer combined runs. Typically, over-under lines for a game might be between 7 to 10 runs. Totals in basketball and football are higher due to the scoring nature of these sports. Football totals might range from 40 to 60 points, while basketball totals can range from 180 to 240 points. For our examples, we're looking at the WNBA and preseason football, both of which have lower totals than normal. They've yet to be played at the time of recording. This baseball game was already played on the 4th of August. It was 8-2 Giants, meaning the over 9 hit, and the Giants' money line hit, and the run line also cashed. Prop bets in baseball can include player-specific outcomes like number of strikeouts by a pitcher, total home runs in a game, RBIs, things like that. Futures bets often involve predicting season outcomes like World Series winner or MVP. Prop bets are the same in the other two sports, with player-specific bets like points scored or touchdowns thrown in a game, or game-specific bets like first team to score. Futures include seasons outcome like NBA championship winner or Super Bowl winner, as well as individual awards like MVPs as well. In baseball, pitching matchups are critical, as starting pitchers significantly impact games' outcomes. Weather and ballpark factors also play a larger role due to the outdoor nature of this sport. In the NFL and the NBA, team dynamics, key injuries, home and away performance are very significant. In football, weather can also be a factor, especially for outdoor games. Now let's get into pitching and how to evaluate pitchers. ERA, or earned run average. Earned run average is a number that shows how many runs a baseball pitcher gives up per 9 innings. A lower number is better, meaning the pitcher is doing a good job. If a pitcher has an ERA of 3, it means that they usually allow 3 runs in a full game. Wins and losses counts the number of games a pitcher wins or loses, though it's not often considered a reliable measure of individual performance due to the influence of team factors. Strikeouts, number of batters a pitcher retires by striking them out, listed as SO or K. Walks, the number of batter a pitcher allows to reach first base via 4 balls, listed as BB. Whip, WHIP stands for walks plus hits per innings pitched. It measures how many base runners a pitcher allows per inning. It's calculated as walks plus hits over the number of innings pitched. A WHIP of 2.5 means the pitcher allows 2.5 base runners per inning. Whether they usually score or not, you'll have to look at other stats and metrics. IP is the total number of innings a pitcher has thrown. How many pitchers do you think pitch all 9 innings? Spoiler alert, in 2023, it was only 36. It was more than I originally thought, but that's still a bunch of different pitchers over 162 games each. Meaning on average, even good pitchers throw about 100 pitches over 5 or 6 innings, maybe 7. Which brings me to bullpen usage. You'll need to know how to determine a team's bullpen usage over the last few games and also predict who might be used in an upcoming game. You may be thinking under 9 runs because of the starting pitching, but the bullpen could be where all your runs come from in late innings. This form is saying that the Blue Jays have used 5 out of their 8 bullpen pitchers yesterday, leaving us to guess the other 3 are available today. Fielding independent pitching, or FIP. FIP estimates a pitcher's performance based on outcomes they can control. Strikeouts, walks, hit by pitches, home runs, things like that. It's scaled to look like an ERA. Expected fielding independent pitching, or XFIP, it's a bit like a report card for a pitcher that tries to predict how well they'll do in the future. Imagine a pitcher is playing a game of baseball, and even if they throw really good pitches, the other team's batters might get lucky and hit the ball where no one can catch it. Other times, the pitcher might get lucky, and the batters might hit the ball right into a fielder who catches it easily. XFIP tries to take out the luck by looking at the things the pitcher can control: how many batters they strike out, how many they walk, how many home runs they give up, and it then makes a guess about how many home runs they would give up if they pitched to an average batter in an average ballpark. By doing this, XFIP gives a better idea of how well a pitcher is really doing and what we can expect from them in the future, without being too influenced by good or bad luck. In our example, we'll look down here at Hunter Greene. He has an ERA of 2.83, but his FIP is 3.42, and his XFIP is 4.12, meaning he might be due for some regression. He might have been getting lucky with good defense, or the Reds have been getting him out of innings with runners on base, things like that. But the XFIP is saying that his ERA should rise. Looking up at Tyler Glasnow, he has a 3.54 ERA, a FIP of 2.28, and an XFIP of 2.61, meaning he may have already seen some bad luck, a bad game or two where he gave up a few runs, but is expected to either pitch better or have some defense normalize if that's been the cause of the early struggles. Next, we have strikeout rate. The percentage of batters a pitcher strikes out is calculated as number of strikeouts over the number of batters faced times 100. Also, we have walk rate, the percentage of batters a pitcher walks. It's calculated as the number of walks over the number of batters faced times 100. So if you walk 8 batters out of 50, you have a walk rate of 16%. Now put them together, we have strikeout to walk ratio, which is the ratio of strikeouts to walks, providing an insight over a pitcher's control and dominance. It's the number of strikeouts over the number of walks. So if you strike out 100 and walk 25, your strikeout to walk ratio would be 4-1. Now, already this seems like a lot of information, and I've stopped to do more research during the filming and recording process, but it's still a learning process. It's still just learning the terms to evaluate a pitcher in a game, and not even the batters on the other side, and not even the other 14 games on a normal baseball card. Whew. So let's keep going. BABIP. BABIP stands for batting average on balls in play. It tells us how often a batter gets a hit when they hit the ball into a field, not counting home runs. Imagine a game where you hit a ball and the fielders are trying to catch it or throw you out. BABIP looks at how often those hits end up as hits instead of outs. It gives an idea of how lucky or unlucky a batter or pitcher has been. If a batter has a high BABIP, it might mean that they've been getting lucky with where the ball lands, while a low BABIP might mean they've been hitting the ball right into a fielder's lot. For pitchers, a high BABIP might suggest bad luck or poor defense behind them, while a low BABIP could mean good luck or great fielding. Wins above replacement, or WAR. WAR is a comprehensive metric that estimates a pitcher's total contributions to their team, factoring both performance and context. WAR is a baseball stat that tells us how much better a player is compared to an average player who could replace them. Imagine you have a player who's really good at hitting, fielding, and running. WAR combines all these skills into one number to show how many more games or wins this player helps their team win compared to a regular player. So if a player has a WAR of 5, it means they help their team win 5 more games than if the team had a typical replacement player instead. It's a way to measure how valuable a player is to their team. There are many other factors to consider, and I think that I'll save them for Betting 202 for a deeper look into stats from a hitting perspective. Now you can see what I mean when I say there's a lot more things to consider when making an educated baseball pick versus other sports. Some of those other things do include pitch velocity, pitch movement, pitch selection, things like fastball, slider, changeup, command and control, pitcher's ability to locate pitches in the strike zone and execute those pitches just as they intended, contextual factors like home ballpark, pitchers pitch better in pitcher-friendly parks like Dodger Stadium opposed to hitter-friendly parks like Coors Field, quality of opposition, game situations like runners on base and late innings or things like that. By combining all of these various statistics and observations, evaluators can gain a comprehensive understanding of a pitcher's performance, strengths, and areas for improvement. Now, I really hope you got something out of this video, and type something in the chat if you're still here. It could be anything. Just lets me know you're still watching. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more things like this, plus daily picks. With this video, I'll be ready to hit the ground running with baseball next year instead of the little lag I had getting myself as up to speed as I wanted to be before making too many public picks. My goal is to do this for a living and have the time to do all the research for those who want it. But for now, Cheesecake Factory gets half my time, so watch and subscribe to help me quit. Football is about to start back up with college football and NFL, and then the NBA and NHL are right around the corner. Then we'll repeat the cycle. Once again, thank you for watching the video. I worked really hard on it, and we'll be back for Betting 202, hitters and batting stats. We'll see you then.